Well, good afternoon. Thank you for everybody for coming here in person and online. We really appreciate you coming to our annual ICC annual public hearing. Our first order of business is to introduce our Commissioner, Keith Howard, who has really reinvigorated the role of the ICC in breaking down silos between city agencies. Commissioner.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. All right, let's see some livelihood. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
We're 2 days away from Friday. Optimism. Welcome. I want to thank everyone for being with us today for the Interagency Coordinating Council, which we call the ICC, on Youth Annual Public Hearing. I'm Keith Howard. I am the Commissioner for the Department of Youth and Community Development, and I'm also by charter designation the Director of the ICC. The ICC is a New York City charter mandated council that brings together the City of New York youth serving government agencies for purpose of collaboration and partnership. I'm looking forward to hearing directly from the public on any thoughts they would like to convey. All 20 of our ICC member agencies, our government partners, are here with us, and they will introduce themselves to you shortly. At last year's public hearing, I made a commitment that we would look to collaborate where possible with our government partners in a systematic way, and that has happened. It's happened in such a short period of time. Under the newly launched ICC support network, members request support from one another in real time as needed, especially in times of crisis. The goal is to have a contingent of appropriate member agencies at the ready to deploy services to assist New Yorkers in need. I am confident that by utilizing the City of New York's resources, combined with the city's tremendous workforce, we can make a difference. And not only that, but I also want to echo the mayor in making sure that city agencies are not working in silos, that we have established relationships and cross-pollination with programs and other areas in which we partner. As for today, we will be joined by the public, in particular young people. I'm excited for this civic engagement opportunity to hear what our guests would like to share with us. I will turn it over to Andrew Miller, who is our Senior Director for Intergovernmental Affairs, who will share with you today's program. I want to thank you and thank our ICC members, our community-based partners who are out there, and all the stakeholders that we have involved in not only youth services, but the mayor's youth agenda to realize the vision of the mayor and to make sure that we are working collaboratively together. Andrew?
Thank you, Commissioner Howard. So before we hear public testimony, we just wanted to take a few moments to highlight what a busy year 2023 has been for the ICC. On March 22nd, the ICC support network was launched, as the Commissioner just mentioned, at the New York City Law Department. DYCD Commissioner Howard and I actually attended that. It was a great event. We actually ran from our budget hearing to attend a very important meeting, and yielded great results, and we look forward to further collaboration for the time ahead. A special thank you to Ms. Williams of the New York City Law Department. We appreciate your support. On June 21st, the ICC held its annual LGBTQA+ competency training at the LGBT Center. This marks the 12th year in a row that the center has been administering the training for ICC members and city employees, and we thank Commissioner Howard for attending that as well. On September 20th, the ICC held its fall quarterly meeting at the Department of Social Services at the World Trade Center. They discussed the availability of resources to New Yorkers, but also our neighborhood, Office of Neighborhood Safety, discussed our crisis management system and their transition to DYCD. Special thanks to Eric Paulino from the Department of Social Services for hosting that event. The ICC would also like to thank Tracy Thorne. I don't know if Tracy is here. She said she was looking down, and Samantha Dawkins of DYCD's RHY team for their leadership in administering the ICC work group on court involvement in supporting LGBT youth. Under their leadership, the work group has continued to meet throughout the year. And then we have a whole series going above and beyond what's mandated in the charter, a whole bunch of other work groups, such as January 22nd, we heard from Workwell, the Office of Labor Relations. On February 22nd, we celebrated the ICC's 30+ anniversary. On April 26th, we had a topic about human trafficking, and Safe Horizon really shared resources and information about what they do. May 31st, the work group featured the Office of Neighborhood Safety prior to them coming here to DYCD. The work group recently learned about Recess Art, a public accessible nonprofit artist work and exhibition space who utilizes visual arts in working with vulnerable populations. And that was we also had a presentation from the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence. On November 15th, there's a lot of events, Eduardo. On November 15th, DYCD's Runaway Homeless Youth Unit shared resources in recognition of the RHY Youth Prevention Awareness Month, Health in Hospitals, who shared information about the adolescent clinics for youth located throughout the city, and my brothers and sisters keepers representatives who highlighted the youth agenda. So the ICC would also like to thank Deputy Commissioner Dal Rattray, Assistant Commissioner Jessica Hernandez of Strategic Partnerships for their leadership and administration of the ICC. But I also want to thank Eduardo. He's just one person and he keeps the ship running. So let's give him a round of applause. So now we're going to ask the ICC members to introduce themselves from my left.
Hi, my name is Young Hong. I'm from the New York Public Library. I'm with the Young Adult Programs and Services team.
Good afternoon, I'm Kiru Batista with the Queens Public Library. I'm the Assistant Coordinator of Teen Services.
Good afternoon. My name is Cecilia Williams. I'm the Director of Interagency and External Affairs with the New York City Law Department Family Court Division.
Good afternoon, my name is Jay Liu. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships for New York City Public Schools.
And he just worked for the UICD, super.
And you.
Good afternoon, I'm Detective Marino Nunez, and I work for the Office of the Deputy Commissioner and Community Affairs Bureau.
Good afternoon, my name is Leroy Williams. I'm the Vice President of Resident Services for the New York City Housing Authority. Good afternoon, my name is Graham Howard. I'm the West Coast Program at the New York Hospitals.
Good afternoon, Sandra Sanchez, Director of Community Affairs for the New York City Fire Department.
Good afternoon. I'm Jenna Pratt. I'm the Program Coordinator for the Mayor's Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence.
Hello, Eric Paulino with the Department of Social Services, Human Resource Administration, and Department of Homeless Services.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Frost, and I'm from the New York City Department of Probation, Juvenile.
Good afternoon. I'm Natalie Devante. I'm a Project Development Coordinator for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Good afternoon. My name is Monique Cumberbatch. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Bell. I'm a Program Officer at the Department of Cultural Affairs.
Good afternoon. My name is Annie Pence, and I'm the Executive Director for Reintegration with the New York City Department of Correction.
Good afternoon. I am Naomi Calvin, and I am the Senior Project Manager at the Department of Aging.
Hello, I am Karen Keys, and I am at the Brooklyn Public Library. I am the Coordinator of Young Adult Services.
Good afternoon. I'm Colleen Doherty. I'm the Director of Interagency Affairs for the Administration for Children's Services.
Well, thank you all for coming. It's really great for young people to see all the agencies present. And this is, I think, the only opportunity in New York City government where young people could speak to every single youth servicing agency. So now we're going to start our public hearing. I'd like to first call up Joshua Stern. And Eduardo, is that a microphone?
Yes, sir. Let's switch them up.
For the city agencies, we encourage you, if there's a certain issue that comes up about your agency, if you care to respond to, that would be great. If not, that's okay as well.
Thank you, Eduardo, and thank you, Commissioner Howard. Let me just confirm that the microphone is working and that folks can hear me. We're all good? Okay, very good. So like Commissioner Howard, I am a frameworks person, but I'm jumping the gun here. So let's start at the very beginning. I'm Joshua Stern. Since my sophomore year of high school, I've been a youth advocate, an advocate for people with disabilities. And it is my pleasure to speak to you today. I am here to advocate for the creation of a youth advisory group to advise and participate in the Interagency Coordinating Council and all of its affairs. Because there are critical components of the council's charter mandated responsibilities that I believe are best performed with the input and the ideation of those who are most affected by these services, our end users, particularly in items number 2, 3, and 8, pertaining to the development of an interconnected system of services that best serves our young people in a way that avoids duplication, that breaks down silos, and that is able to systematically transform the way that we serve our young people, to serve them to the best of our ability, and to allow them to advocate effectively. I would propose that this group of youth would be involved again in all of the committee's affairs and have the power to make substantive change. Because when we hear from our end users, we are better agencies for it. So thank you. Yes.
I appreciate the proposal. It's a charter mandate that the council, the ICC, is set up in specific ways with city agencies and representation. However, DYCD does have a youth board in which we would love to have you be a member and part of. The youth board is a governing body with representation with young people who guide DYCD on policies and everything youth related. So if you're interested in serving on the youth board, Eduardo can speak to you about that. We actually have appointments and accepting applications for the youth board.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm actually in the process of being considered for appointment at the moment.
Oh, then it's great. Yeah, thank you.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Next, we have Anya Biggs.
Hi. Okay, I did prepare this. My name is Anya Biggs. I'm an organizer here with the NYCL Youth Teen Activist Project. As a young woman growing up in New York, I'm deeply worried personally for my safety and the safety of youth in New York City. In a 2021 report from the CDC, the highest risk for sexual assault was between the ages of 12 and 34. And although anyone can be at risk for assault, girls aged 16 to 19 are 4 times more likely than any other demographic to be rape or sexual assault victims. And as these statistics become more prevalent, a growing concern is that youth in New York City are being deprived of comprehensive sex education that we so desperately need and deserve. Oftentimes, sexual education is thought about as protecting unplanned pregnancies and against sexually transmitted infections. However, they serve an exceptionally underrepresented and needed purpose in teaching consent and healthy relationships. As you may be aware from recently the Rain hearing, penal law in New York currently states that in cases of rape, only perpetrators who are aware and have reason to be aware that a person is mentally incapacitated can be held accountable. However, since in New York, the definition of mental incapacitation is defined as involuntary intoxication, if someone chooses to become intoxicated, they are legally still able to give consent. This means that someone who perpetrates a sex crime may face no consequences, even if they know the victim cannot prevent consent because of intoxication. This voluntary intoxication loophole allows abusers to walk free, and it sends a message that our current penal law victim blames and betrays not only women, but every victim of sexual assault in New York. This law is just one example of the threat that sexual violence and abuse poses to the life of New Yorkers. The system in law and the educational standards fails to adequately prevent the occurrence of sexual assault and protect people in the event that assault occurs. Not only does this law not protect us, but neither does our schooling. Young people, especially young women, must learn that abusive behavior is unacceptable. They must learn that choosing to be intoxicated.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Technical difficulties.
Go back a little bit. In that case, young people, especially young women, must learn that abusive behavior is unacceptable. They must learn that choosing to be intoxicated does not justify assault, and it does not justify rape. Without comprehensive sexual education, New York youth run the risk of being a part of more than 2/3 of teenagers nationally who have been / are in a relationship who experience some form of physical, verbal, and emotional abuse. By giving them the tools to identify and prevent these situations, we all work towards protecting New York youth once and for all. We imagine comprehensive sexuality education as medically accurate, inclusive, starting in kindergarten until 12th grade, that is age appropriate and reflects national standards. I believe this is possible and necessary, and it would be a step towards protecting the lives and well-being of all New Yorkers. Honestly, I'm concerned on behalf of myself and on behalf of every young person in New York. We must have more comprehensive sexual education, not only to educate, but to enable New York youth to identify harmful behavior and speak out against sexual violence. Thank you.
I'm sorry, your first name is
Anya.
Anya Highland. There's nothing that you just said that we're not in support of. One of the things that the mayor has made clear is how do we advocate together collectively to change some of the laws that lends to more protection for young people. We do have, as part of the ICC, someone from the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence. The commissioner that runs that agency is doing a amazing job in making sure that she's hearing the voices of young people in order to protect the rights and to somehow change the criminal behavior that's going on. I don't know, do we have the
Yes.
Yeah. You want to talk about it?
Hi, thank you for that. I think you touched on a lot of really important things. There, unfortunately is, types of this gender-based violence is everywhere, in the world in New York, and we do have a youth leadership council, that we're working with to try to get youth voice and input, so I'd love to get you involved if possible. But we also have the RAP program, which is the Relationship Abuse Prevention Program, and they're in a handful of schools across the city, but not enough. And so we'd love to, I wish we had the funding for them in every single school, but it's a start, and so we're hoping that this can expand some of the education touched on.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Would it be okay if I asked one question to the domestic and gender-based violence person? Sure. Yeah. All right. I don't want to be on the spot. If you don't know, completely all right. But I think it was October or November 13th or October 23rd of this year that RAIN, the organization, held a meeting with a couple of assemblymen to discuss the voluntary intoxication loophole in the penal law. I was wondering if the mayor's office had any input on that or if they were aware of that.
I'm not sure about that. That's a good question.
No worries. Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure that if you leave your information, contact information with the staff here, we can get you the information that you want that you see.
Sounds perfect.
Thank you. Next is Ibubi Nuami.
Great. My name is Bube Wimbe, and I'm youth advocate as well. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for taking time out and being with ICC this afternoon, as well as the YCD. Also, many thanks to every young person that spoke before me today. I'm here to highlight some of the work that I do with NBSK, my brother sister keepers youth council, as well as working with other organizations in creating the youth agenda. So I'm a young person, I'm a member of Youth Advocate, as a member of my brother sister keepers youth council, NBSK, which is a UICD funded youth council here in New York City. We do a lot of work in creating the New York City Youth Agenda in coalition with 4 other youth organizations, which are Intergenerational Change Initiative, ICI, Citizens Committee for Children, CCC. We have WIFO with us, and just most recently this year, we have youth organization ONS also joining us in our team. We are here to promote the youth agenda. We do the youth agenda, we collect data. So ICI every year puts out a survey. It's called an Amplify survey. Some of you have come across it, some of you young people have come across the Amplify survey. So young people answer the survey, and with that way we get data back from them on what is actually going on with them in different societies, in different communities, throughout New York City, and that way we get to know how we can best service them. So what we do with that data is we promote it, and we also speak to young people to create data policies. You know, we to speak to young people, and we actually, through that data, we're able to understand exactly what's going on with them, and we use it to create youth recommendations and youth agenda recommendations that we get to present to policymakers in February in our policy breakfast. So throughout this youth agenda, we create these issues and these solutions. We don't only bring problems to the policymakers, we also bring solutions and how they can help young people and how they can make these solutions to benefit young people throughout the city. So I don't really have a question, but my thing is just for your organizations and your departments to keep supporting some of the work that we do. And then I'm gonna drop some information with Eduardo to always kick it out to ICC when we are doing this event. We're just making sure to show support in our policy breakfast next year so that some of these organizations can know the issues that are really concerning to young people and being able to best service them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Denisa from the CCRB. Is she here or is she online?
Online.
Okay. Hello, I'm from the CCRB, and I will be telling why I joined. So, New York City, the city of change, the city that never sleeps, home to more than 8 million people of different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and racial backgrounds, dubbed the melting pot of the world and one of America's highlights and glories. The concrete skyline is the only thing that comes to one's mind when the words New York is uttered. Bustling economy, busy city that has lived up to the promise of opportunity before Ellis Island and after all. For at least as Lady Liberty has stood shackleless and free. The city of equality, right? Well, at least to the naked eye. The word equality encapsulates the concept of my city, but my city has often failed to make that concept a reality. The type of reality is that New York is home to discrimination, inequality, and due to these issues, the humanity of many are stripped, and our humanity as a city is left in ruins without change. My community needs change, and I want to make an impact. However, the voice of youth is often neglected, and ignored. I knew, however, that my voice needed to be heard, and I knew I needed to be the catalyst of change. I desperately searched for ways I can have an impact in my city, and that is what led me to the CCRB's Youth Advisory Council. I know that police misconduct is a big issue in the city, and it's especially in my community, and it's happened to many people I've known in my community. And since joining the CCRB, I've been given opportunities to suggest solutions and participate and present community events and expressing my passions, ideas, and concern. An opportunity that doesn't often come to youth like me, and my voice as an NYC youth has been heard, and I'm very grateful. And since joining the CCRB Youth Advisory Council, I've been inspired to participate in organizations and clubs with similar goals, and I've carried my leadership skills I've developed in the Youth Leadership Council with me. And I know what it's like for your voice to be ignored and for your ideas to be neglected, but I know that with confidence that I gained this year, I'll persevere. And my hunger won't be satisfied until I've made enough impact, and I won't make impact if I don't persevere. I know that my city needs change, and I'm willing to do anything to promote the change and be the change.
Thank you, Lindsay. Next up, we have Tyrone Stearns from the God Squad, and they really are doing God's work.
Blessed and love, everybody. So I'm first and foremost, if anybody don't know me sitting up there, I'm a full-time faith believer. So first I got to say I thank you, God, and I thank you, Commissioner and Mr. Boyd, for allowing me this opportunity today. As y'all heard, my name is Tyrone Stearns, and I probably sit there representing the first faith organization in New York City, 67 Precinct Clergy Council with a kill violence contract, Project Echo, empowering communities with an opportunity where I serve as community coordinator. That we all have the same vision, which is to save our youth and denounce gun violence, but we do have still many different mission statements, and I'll share two. One of them is to heal and empower communities impacted by gun violence by using a holistic faith-based model. Some may ask what that look like. The God Squad is the organization who was formed by clergy members who fought on the ground fighting to end gun violence, provide support to families in need of help. Clergy members of communities who fight to ensure safety in New York City and now spread it across the world, who now have been blessed with the kill violence contract. When you have Project Echo, where there are violent interrupters, street people from the communities who are able to grab up our youth and turn their lives around. They also do this by collaborating with reformed gang members and well-respected figures in the community that the community looks up to. Project Echo is a community movement reimagining community safety and vibrance to inspire positivity and overall well-being in East Flatbush. I come from one of the hottest towns in Brooklyn, New York City, located right in East Flatbush, Brownsville, and Crown Heights, where we consider our own neighborhood, which is 90. Where some of the hottest rappers, Fabio, Robbie, and Bobby don't come from. Long story short, growing up over there was not easy. But as I got older, seeing everybody follow behind the same trend and also being a gun survivor, I met God Squad thinking at one of my close friends' funeral, and seeing all the great work they do and important to me, I had to step up and take initiative and be the change. Be the voice for my community and be the voice for you. 3 years later, I'm now full-time employed with them. Went to Winthrop Middle School, where I have the privilege of now working with them and supporting the youth in there. I will also be launching off our first, with our new project, launching off our first new program, photography program in my 11th middle school, December 11th, this Monday. It's called My Vision, My Life, My Vision. And can you imagine with funding and more resources put that can change lives and young, especially young traditional careers of where you feel they need support of. In closing, I'd just like to say thank you to Mayor Adams and the Commissioner Howard for investing in you. You are an example of investment. I commend you, Commissioner Howard, for a job well done in these communities. And in my closing, I am Tyrone Stearns, Community Coordinator for Project Echo. I'm your favorite hood brother, but I'm your favorite good brother. I found my lane and I stuck in. Be yourself, buy yourself, love yourself, and I promise you to find yourself one into others. May you all be blessed. Thank you.
I just want to thank you and Pastor Hines for the work that you do for the community, not only for the youth, but for the entire community. And just mitigating conflicts, being out there in the community, making sure that young people and community residents are safe. The tragic couple of days have been rough, and I know that God Squad has been out there supporting families. And the two well-known homicides that just recently happened. And to me, the fact that you and Pastor Hines and the rest of your team, energy and life on the line, just to make sure that others have an opportunity to be safe is commendable. And on behalf of the mayor and myself, I appreciate you now, and I know the city agencies on this today is actually appreciate you as well. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Tyrone. Next up is Devin Chapman from Europe.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I'm going to be testifying on behalf of Europe. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you all being here. So my journey with Europe began 8 years ago when I was first introduced to the program from a friend named Laquan Smallwood. Similar to his story, I had been working in retail and I had been actively looking for different employment opportunities to provide different career mobility. We spoke about the program where I asked about his experience, learned about the opportunities that would be available to him from this journey, and I later decided to apply. You see, I come from a family of 7, Caribbean family background, where it was instilled us from young that education was the strongest point that would get you to where you want to be in life. Through this program, I found out that I would receive support, receive training, receive all around wraparound support through coaches and mentors who would guide me and provide mentorship if I needed it. They offered paid training, and I was like, yeah, I'm sold, sign me up. So decided to pursue this opportunity, signed up for the financial operations career track, and then from there my journey kind of took off. It was through there that I was able to land an internship opportunity that received mentors and guidance from my managers who supported me throughout my time with them. They even decided to hire me full time after the completion of my time with Europe. Years later, I decided to join Europe not only just as an alum of the program, but a staff member. So through my current position as a staff member, I support individuals who have similar stories as me, coming from similar backgrounds, where they either completed high school, didn't necessarily know where they wanted to go in life, or they attended some years of college but received the roadblock where that prevents them from being able to continue. Far too often I hear stories that I can't go to school because I don't have the funding to qualify for it, or I'm not receiving financial aid and I can't afford to take out school loans to further burden my family. So through this program, we support individuals who are disadvantaged and are looking for opportunities to receive that same support that I received when I was in the program. We offer training in different aspects of tech, finance, and then also in business, where we support individuals between the ages of 18 to 29 with opportunity. So I am here pretty much to ask for your support, to help us to continue to support those individuals who may need it. Not because they are disadvantaged, but because they need the opportunity that would help them to better support themselves, but also their family as well. Far too often I hear similar stories as mine, and I want to be able to serve as a change for those individuals similar to my story. Through this program, I was able to not only complete my bachelor's degree, but also go back and pursue other opportunities as well. I've been with the organization going on 2 years now, just recently got promoted to senior enrollment manager, and it was through this program that I was able to receive that career mobility myself. So if you have it in your heart to continue to support organizations like us, then I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Now we go online. The first one is Anissa Makher.
Speak, or is that a different?
No, different, similar name.
If she's still here.
Why don't we,
I don't think she's not here anymore.
we'll skip to the next person. Miss Bailey. Liza Bailey. Oh, okay. Next up, Sister E. Jones.
Islam, my name is Sister E. Jones Bay. So Islam in the nature and power of Allah, the master of spiritual insight and perceive all truth. I rise in thought and spirit, give praise to the great God Allah. I give honor to his holy illustrious prophet, noble Jew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of Malacca. I give honors to everyone here. I am Sister E. Jones Bay, heiress to Sacred Heart Mission, a nonprofit mission started by my great-grandfather, Charles Jones. I give honors to him, my great-grandmother, great-grandfather, my parents, and so on and so forth. I'm the CEO and founder of Lyrics Playhouse, faith-based organization, and a community-based organization, governess and director of Lyrics Playhouse Moorish Sudbury Institute, and the adult facilitator of Lyrics Playhouse Moorish Sudbury Institute Youth Leadership Council. Today, I'm speaking on behalf of my youth. Since 2015, myself, my offspring, and the many youth volunteers have donated countless hours of service at little to no cost to the Asiatic community. When I say Asiatic, I'm speaking in reference to those identified as Negro, Black, Colored, Ethiopian, African American, etc. We wanted to know what can be done to truly address the issues facing New York City youth. I believe that is end discriminatory practices that prevent faith-based organizations from receiving and applying grants and donations from these organizations that's sitting here saying they're helping the youth today. There is a need for financial assistance in these avenues. And while my business receives financial assistance from our clients, supporters, and students who are able to donate, those donations are only able to assist those individuals and their families. We partner with New York City Cares, who provides coats in the winter times, but that barely puts a dent in what we need to provide to our community. And what is needed is good homes, nutritious food, and adequate weather-appropriate clothing at the time when it is necessary, and high-quality education that focuses on the needs of all of the youth. They need to be taught morality and etiquette, which is usually handled by faith-based institutions. Faith-based organizations have the ability to effectuate positive change in the communities, and we deserve to receive the same opportunities as other nonprofit organizations. Holding back funding because we believe in a higher power and our mission is in the service of Allah is hurting the Asiatic youth of New York City and is both mean and unjust. And with that, I yield the floor and say peace.
So there's a few things to unpack with the statement. We have a partnership with faith-based organization. In fact, the mayor and Pastor Gil Monroe, who is the head of the mayor's office on faith-based initiative, actually provide the level of services and resources and connection to those services and resources. We can make sure that we provide his contact information and that office contact information to you in terms of being able to connect in real ways to the mayor's office and to the city agencies that Pastor Monroe has a relationship with. And we, of course, have a very strong relationship with the faith-based organizations, and they do run some of our BYC's programs. In terms of financial support, I encourage you to talk to your council member because your council member has what they call discretionary funding, in which they fund a lot of state faith-based organizations to do the type of work that you're currently doing now. In addition, we have a competitive process along with other city agencies on this panel, and that's called the request for proposal, which is we call the RFP. When you need to get connected to the mayor's office of contracts and create a identification for your agency on Passport where you can receive alerts on funding and funding opportunities that are provided via city agencies. We can help you and guide you and connect you to those resources so that you can be familiar with. And we can also provide capacity building if you ever receive the grants as awarded. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I would definitely appreciate if that could be sent to me because I haven't been able to get any access to these information before today. So I appreciate you for hearing me and thank you for addressing the concerns.
Thank you. Next up online is Jacqueline Tacarante from the New York City Digital Media Center on Staten Island.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacqueline Tacarante, hailing from Staten Island as the Executive Director of the New York City Digital Media Center. I'm here before you today with a heart full of gratitude and a commitment to the incredible potential that resides within the youth of our low-income neighborhoods. As the Executive Director of the New York City Digital Media Center, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of programs dedicated to empowering our young minds. It brings me immense joy to share with you the remarkable success we've achieved. 100% graduation and completion rate amongst our participants in video editing and podcasting. This accomplishment is a testament to the unwavering dedication of our team and the indomitable spirit of the young individuals who have embraced the opportunities we provide. While we celebrate these victories, it is crucial to acknowledge that our work is far from complete. Success extends beyond the classroom, and we recognize the need for comprehensive support services that address the multifaceted challenges faced by our youth. We are not merely shaping graduates, we are nurturing resilient, empowered individuals ready to contribute meaningfully to society. To truly foster success, we are calling for additional wraparound services. Mental health support is a fundamental need that cannot be overlooked, as it directly impacts a student's ability to thrive academically and personally. By investing in mental health resources, especially on Staten Island, we pave the way for brighter futures and healthier communities. Moreover, we understand that hunger and transportation barriers can impede even the most determined students. No young mind should be held back by basic necessities. Therefore, we seek your support in providing food replenishment and transportation vouchers. These seemingly simple measures can make an extraordinary difference in ensuring that our participants can focus on their education without the burden of hunger or transportation limitations. As we strive to uplift our youth, let us come together to create a system to support that extends beyond the confines of the classroom. Your commitment to these additional wraparound services will not only enhance the impact of the New York City Digital Media Center, but will also empower our youth to overcome adversity and reach their fullest potential. I'm grateful for your time, your consideration, and your shared dedication to creating a future where every young person has the opportunity to thrive. Thank you, and I yield my time.
Thank you.
And thank you, Commissioner Howard.
Thank you, Jacqueline. I think we are scheduled to meet in the next couple of days or weeks.
In the near future, yes, yes. Your team is doing an excellent job. Thank you.
Yes, because I believe we have some follow-up conversations to see how we can actually connect to the work that you're doing out there in Staten Island. And I believe when we last left off, it's how do we collaborate together with our community, our crisis management system to get you into the fold with those organizations in Staten Island that are not only offering safe passage for young people, but also offering safe spaces. And
Correct.
I believe that the New York City Digital Media Center is a safe space. And we want to see exactly how we can make those real connections. So when we meet, that's going to be the topic of conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Next up, we have Monet Smith from SJI.
Hello to everyone in the room and good afternoon, Commissioner Howard. Hope everything is well. My name is Monet Smith. I am the founder and executive director for a nonprofit organization based in Brooklyn that focuses on criminal justice reform through a preventative lens of lowering crime and incarceration rates. I'm also in the graduate program at NYU Wagner for public policy and nonprofit management to also grow and scale that business in service to our community. With that being said, a lot of my background comes from the expertise of criminology in terms of studying the root issues that cause crime and things within the community in terms of programming as well in policy, missions and agenda that can also lower these numbers. With that being said, a lot of our organization in terms of why we were founded and our root issues is working at a preventative lens rather than a punitive lens, especially as it relates to a lot of the issues that we're seeing our youth and community in Brooklyn face post-COVID. So with that, we're here to advocate more work and alternatives into focusing on preventative measures rather than punitive measures. And with preventative measures, we have an overemphasis in tackling things at the very root issue before it really involves our youth getting wrapped up in the criminogenic legal system. So in terms of, doing work at the root level of schools, we advocate that when youth face issues within their school systems, especially public education, whether that's suspensions or when teachers are noticing lower rates in terms of attendance or just overall difficulties with that challenge, in order to lower the school to prison pipeline, we recommend implementing programs such as the work that we do or other work that local organizations do to tackle these issues head on before it gets to the probation and legal system. So like with that, one thing that our organization does in preventative lens is helping youth discover their passion and careers and turning that passion into a career. We believe everyone in life has a passion, but a lot of our youth don't know what that passion is in translation to economic opportunities. We bridge the gap of social and economic mobility through working with them as young adults and helping them discover that passion and focusing a new gear and direction for being more motivated in their education. So we recommend having programs like ours and not specific to ours in these school systems, and also developing a comprehensive model in terms of what it would look like in our public education system, transitioning our youth that are struggling in this system to some of the amazing work that a lot of our organizations do in this city, as well as some of the work our organizations, including myself, do in this room. So thank you for your time and thank you for listening to us.
So on that, I think that we were trying to collaborate on an event. Unfortunately, something happened in terms of the fiscal condition of the city. We are still committed to making sure that we collaborate on that convening event where we can not only connect the young people and work with you at that event, but also build the services that you provide and offer to not only DYC, but other city agencies. I'm also think that this is a good opportunity for union organizations to sit down again with DYC so that we can examine how you can be an integral part of the crisis management system. So let's schedule an opportunity to talk about next steps in that space as well.
Thank you. Next up is Jennifer Tang.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Tang. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a member of the Intergenerational Change Initiative out of the CUNY SPS Youth Studies Program. I am a member of an incredible coalition, actually. The New York City Youth Agenda Coalition includes 5 organizations. So the Intergenerational Change Initiative, as well as the Citizens Committee for Children, Why Vote, My Brothers, Sisters, Keepers Youth Council, as well as the Office for Neighborhood Safety's Youth Leadership Council. We are a group of organizations coming together to conduct research as well as offer policy recommendations for the New York City policy arena. We are interested in gathering as many opportunities as we can for young people to then advocate for their needs. In particular, we'd like to shout out, we have a youth agenda Dataland event coming out tomorrow. And so if anyone is available, please check out bit.ly/youth agenda data for our event coming up tomorrow. In particular, I'd really like for the committee, for the public hearing here to then learn about the wonderful work that the Youth Agenda Coalition has been doing. This past year, we put together 5 policy areas with detailed recommendations that we would like the city to respond to. These include education equity, environmental justice, economic mobility, mental health, and lastly, housing insecurity. So what I'd really love everyone to do is, if you can, either Google or put into your Instagram hashtag NYC Youth Agenda, or you can Google us, NYC Youth Agenda, because that's where you're going to find a lot of our research, the policy recommendations that we're putting forward, and also then connect with the 5 organizations who would really love to work with you on these recommendations. We're looking forward to being able to then push forward not only just the voices of young people, but also engage young people in the structural change that we need in order to activate policies, services, and resources for young people. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Jennifer, and thanks for the work that you're doing for the youth. If you can just submit, I don't know if there's a chat or what have you on here, but whatever information to Eduardo, and we can make sure it gets circulated around to all the various city agencies, and see how we can connect not only your organization, but the policy and the research that you have already provided.
I've added the link into the chat. It's yvote.org/NYC Youth Agenda. So if you are able to either Google it or pick up that link, it would be very much appreciated. And please connect with us if you have any other advocacy issues or you'd like to be part of our coalition. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next up is Jawara Hudson. Jawara Hudson.
Hello.
Welcome. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, bringing greetings from Medgar Evers College. I have my youth council here with me, so they're watching. Sorry, my phone is acting up a little bit. Can you guys, oh, there you go. I just want to say welcome again to everybody, and I just have just a comment just for all the city agencies to work together. And everything that we do, there's always those loopholes, for us to, or hurdles that we have to jump through, working with various agencies. Just if we can work together, DOH, DYCD, DOE, and the other various agencies that we have as city agencies, work together to make our providing service for our communities as seamless as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're all about collaboration and how to find connections. So again, if you want to send your information in the chat, we can make sure that we can stay connected.
Okay, so that exhausts the list of people that registered to testify. Is there anybody here present that wishes to testify and did not? And is there anybody online? If there is someone online, please raise your hand.
Can you guys see me, hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, you can hear me? Okay. All right, so my name is Rosalind Anya. I'm part of the Youth Action Board. And so today I wrote something, um, which is guiding change for the youth. Conversations and concerns surrounding the youth are oftentimes analyzed through myopic lenses, placing blame and scrutinizing the youth for issues. While it is important to note concerning trends, raising rate on youth crime and violence, youth dropout rates, low youth employment, and or low youth college enrollment, youth homelessness, youth mental health. Change must be pushed. We, the City of New York, can create public policies to further improve and fund youth social services. Among the areas, education initiatives and community programs is crucial to guide the youth. With resume building, trade school option, expanding different education horizons, education is not a one-size-fits-all. Through initiatives and community programs and partnerships, the New York City government can add to the budget, axling and turning around youth development. Youth mentorships are necessary for troubled youth and is imperative to mobilize education with any personal ongoing problems, whether they're home, life, community, and even mental health. So let us encourage struggling youth to understand that they can achieve success and stability despite adversities. For I myself, I've been a mentor for the past 4 years, and that mentorship that I gave was something that I wish I had had to stop me from wandering out aimlessly and struggling with not only my mental health and little support. With the gratitude of my mentors and role models, I learned that I can continue to help and be a part of the Youth Action Board, which I became a part of through the sheltering program I was part of. So let's showcase the stories of mentorship and education initiatives. Youth homelessness often ties into the intersectionality of the above issue, education, that surrounds youth adversities. Oftentimes within the school system, there is something that is the school to prison pipeline, disadvantaging those who have fallen victim to the adversities that society oftentimes ignores. To have dealt with my own overwhelming stresses of homelessness, for 4 years, I felt hopeless in a broken social service system for youth hopelessness. But I speak today with a full-time job and learned hope that we can garner the change for the youth, to which to which I leave off with a simple statement and encouragement that we, the young voices of New York, all governing bodies and people, can change the system from the youth, from as young as elementary school to young adult, because the youth deserve support and continuing guidance during the ages I mentioned, elementary school and young adult, because these times are imperative for emotional and psychological development.
Thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate your comments. I don't know if you were part of the meetings that we had at BYC. I do remember you as well. We have a very excellent partnership with the Youth Action Board. We have with Onyx and you, as well as some of the other members. All I can say is that through your actions and your voice, we've been able to make some programs, changes in our Runaway from the Shoot program, and that's credited to you and Unity Project to be able to listen and take those points and the voices that you lift and look at our services and to make sure that we are continuously providing wraparound services, that we're continuously providing housing, and then we'll continue providing the necessary services to and the youth violence. We know that this is runaway homeless youth month, we have highlighted some stories on our social media site in partnership with you and to make sure that the voices of young people in homelessness are lifted up. So thank you, and please continue to communicate with us so we can continue to be able to elevate the story.
Yes. Yes, youth homelessness is something that, like I said, touched me personally. And I was from Connecticut, and there, while there is homeless opportunities, it was limited. And so I'm grateful to be in this state that does have some resources. So thank you.
Thank you. So now Eduardo's not killing because I'm gonna break the rules, but we're gonna let Mr. Hudson speak again because he gave up his chance to speak. Is he unmuted? He is. Okay. You're on.
Oh, hello, my name is Danae Bryan, and I'm part of the Flatbush Beacon Youth Council. I have two issues I would like to talk about, which is construction and homelessness. There's a lot of homeless people around both my middle school and my high school, and I feel as if there should be more intervention to keep them away from students in school. Also, with construction, it affects my quality of life severely. When I want to do a test, there's so much construction work, I can't even like make my own thoughts in my head because I'm hearing banging across the street and it's affecting my livelihood. So I would like for it to be at least a little bit of intervention for both construction and homelessness so that my quality of life can improve. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Actually, those conversations actually came up at the last mayor's community conversation in terms of what's going on in the community. And what we have, and the way that the city agencies have been addressing it is that if you have specific issues that relate to homelessness and safety and enforcement issue, if you can just put that you're at the school and the transportation, construction issues in the chat, we can make sure that it gets sent over to the city agency that has the enforcement power to make sure that those issues are addressed. The thing that come to mind right now is, of course, with DSS and also NYPD, the Community Affairs Unit, they have collaboratively been working with other city agencies to make sure that we address community complaints. So if you can be specific and just send it in the chat, we'll make sure it gets to those city agencies and that it gets addressed.
Thank you. We're going back to Mr. Hudson. No. Okay. Anybody else want to testify? Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll keep this up until 5 o'clock because that's the public notice. But you feel free to stay or you can go. And thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, IT. I know this is challenging here to do and managing it. So, and thank you all of us to the agencies.
Sorry, guys, we're just having a little bit of technical difficulty. I apologize.
Oh, okay. All right. Go. It was Hudson. He's still muted.
He's muted again.
Hi, sorry, I'm yielding my time. I think I had my hand up from before.
Okay. Thank you once again for coming. And thank you for all the people that testified, particularly the young people. It's great to hear from them as always.
Hi, my name is Lamisha, and I just have a few things to say. I don't know if it was said already because I'm late. I've been trying to get in all day. But one of the things and one of the concerns that I had is there's nothing in my neighborhood really in the South Bronx. I live in the South Bronx, so there's really nothing in the neighborhood for the teenagers to do. There's just computers and a basketball thing in the community center that's over here, which they pretty much done got bored with. There's other activities that goes on in other communities, like other projects that's over here, but it's something called hood rivalries, and they can't go into these areas. So I feel like something should be created in every neighborhood to where these teens have something to do other than fight each other on the street and end up in jail. Um, Another one, oh, he was gonna say something.
No, go ahead, please, finish your thought.
Another thing that I was gonna say that is I feel like there should be some type of mentorships in these type of neighborhoods as well, like with some men and women mentorships where they have someone they feel that they can turn to or somewhere to turn to. I know there is not that in my community, it's individuals like me and a couple of others that do our best to try to talk to the kids and when we see them do something wrong. But it really needs the government can have someone or a program where they can have somewhere to go.
Mimi, thank you so much for that feedback. I'd like to respond to some of your commentary. Primarily, I share your sentiment, the commissioner shares your sentiment. Clearly, we'd like to have opportunity for young people to get engaged, especially in our neighborhoods. But I'd like to share with you that we are certainly committed to that. In the interim, I'd like to highlight to you that on BYCD's webpage, I don't know, I'm not sure if you are familiar with it or been on it, it's nyc.gov/DYCD. We have a search engine called Discover DYCD. And the benefits of that, Mimi, is that you could just type in a zip code, an address, a borough, and it would identify for you neighborhood-based resources that the agency supports. And many of them are, in fact, mentorship programs, after-school programs, community engagement programs. However, as you're saying, more is needed. I also would like to identify to you that the agency, Department of Youth and Community Development, also has an effective body known as neighborhood advisory boards. And those are very important because those bodies handle federal funding and often need to identify community needs. So they have 44 districts in New York City, of many of which are communities residing, that are eligible to be on that board. And even young people as young as 16 years of age can sit on that board. Now, you know what happens, Mimi? These board positions go unfilled. Unfortunately, those members of the community on the board do identify needs of those communities. And often they may not be the ones that young people may need. So I certainly would encourage you to visit our webpage. It's nyc.gov/DYCD. You can certainly reach out to me directly. I mean, look, the way I facilitated this hearing at dycd.nyc.gov, and I'll be more than happy to identify what's in place. But in the interim, we share your sentiment that we, of course, would like to see more. Thank you so much for your commentary and feedback. I see somebody else on the call. Is there anybody else on the call that would like to submit written or verbal testimony at this time?
Hi.
Hi. We're here, we're open, please, if you'd like to submit any commentary, we can accept that. Marlise Salgado, the floor is yours.
Hi, yes. I just logged in right now, so I also could have missed some information, but I just wanted to say, I'm a mental health therapist and I'm seeing that there are, significant youth who mental health is still declined after the pandemic. And um, in general, there could be some challenges connecting you to appropriate mental health services. There are still limited amount of school social workers that can adhere to like just connecting them appropriately. I know that there are still some homeschooling availabilities if there's mental health documentation provided, which I think is great. I do want to say that I hope that it can continue as we like alleviate some of those stressors and they acclimate to being in school again. I just want to say two things in that regard. If there should be some resources in the Bronx, like after school scenarios where they can receive, like, parents could have more access to receiving that information. Or even if there's direct personnel coming into the schools to provide it, the stigma behind receiving services is still really high. And just trying to get even some students in groups. Again, groups are very limited, and that used to be a great way to help them acclimate socially and even allow them to get to work or get internships. I feel that there might not be sufficient access to internships or maybe other workshops and resume buildings or just building confidence and self-esteem as mental health has become such a prominent issue.
Thank you, Marlise Salgado. I can definitely tell you that we take that very much to heart. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, at this very public hearing, we had a young person come to us and share some of those concerns that you highlight. We took that to heart, frankly, and we tried to get that individual to, of course, to get the services necessary, but more importantly, moving forward, look to address the many issues that New York City youth and youth around the nations, of course, encounter, especially emerging from the pandemic. Just 2 years ago, the U.S. Surgeon General considered mental health amongst young people a national epidemic, and we certainly recognize that. So I'm here to share with you what we've done, what our other partners have done, and I'm delighted that the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene is launching a campaign specifically pertaining to mental health and young people. And we're excited about that because it's an unrecognized epidemic, as you're saying. And amongst the Department of Youth and Community Development, the agency that I represent, Commissioner Howard was here earlier today, I'm delighted to share with you that moving forward, all contracts that will be issued by this agency with nonprofit providers in the community will have, in fact, a mental health component. So unfortunately, a lot of people were impacted by the pandemic and still are, and we are emerging, unfortunately, a little too slow, but we are heading the right direction. And I do urge you to appreciate what VOHMH will be putting out in that regard. And of course, our agency always wants to be involved with the needs of the community. So we urge you to keep articulating that. And I did mention to our previous testifier before you that neighborhood advisory boards do have vacancies. And out of the New York City's 59 community boards, 44 of them have NAB boards. And NAB boards handle federal funding. And oftentimes, those funding allocations go to what the NAB is saying is a priority. So if you have a composition of the board that's mostly, let's say, seniors, they clearly are going to allocate and recommend funding go to those programs. What we need in some of these boards are young people, people who advocate for young people to be in a position to be able to make some of those recommendations on where those funding dollars go. So a lot is being done, unfortunately not enough, but we are heading in the right direction. And I do urge you to please keep posted on what the city is doing in that regard. And of course, I encourage you as well to look into that. DYCD is our webpage. On it, we have a lot of content, as I alluded to, identifying resources in the community. and also identifying how you could become a member of the neighborhood advisory boards to recommend funding in the areas that you articulated. Thank you so much for your feedback. I don't think there's anybody else right now, so we'll keep it open and then we'll go down. Okay, so just give me a shout out. I'm gonna just check to see what's out here if anybody comes up. Thank you so much. Hey, Tracy.
How is it?
Thank you. Thank you for being on. Are you on the call, Mimi?
Yes, that's me.
Hi, Mimi. I heard your testimony and I responded to it. I don't know if you had an opportunity to hear that. Did you?
I heard it, but the whole thing is, even when I looked it up, it's not in there. We have a community center across the street. It's
Right.
the services is not in the community center. When I say these kids cannot leave this neighborhood, it is dangerous for them because the next project was in a 2-block radius that they have to walk through just to get to some of these services.
Right.
And that is what I'm saying. I advocate for this. I'm in this. I work for the Bronx Community Justice Center. I sit in court with these kids. I know vividly what's going on.
So let me understand this, Mimi. You're suggesting that there are some programs in the community, but the kids are not accessing them because they're fearful of, crossing borders, crossing streets.
Yes, they have to cross through neighborhoods where they have rivalries with.
Okay, well, I would love to better appreciate that, as I'm sure Commissioner Howard would. If you're specifically talking about a community, a neighborhood, a street, that is preventing kids from accessing the program, we'd love to hear about that. Because of course, we have partnerships with the NYPD. And that's not something unique that we haven't seen in the past, Mimi. So what we've asked NYPD to do is during the hours of operation of programming, to have a cop car, station outside these areas. As you can imagine, we need everybody, all city agencies at the ready to support our youth. We could develop wonderful youth programs, but if they don't go to us, you're suggesting, then that's a problem. So I would love to hear more specifics from you. If you have a community board, a zip code, a street where you feel that young kids are not accessing programs because of criminal activity, we certainly want to bring that to the attention of our government partners.
Yes, and the police is always out there. But it's
Right,
still
what we're gonna ask them to do, Mimi, is to be stationed right there, okay? To be a visible presence. Now, that's part of the deterrent. We need more than that. We also want police to engage with some of these young people that are accessing these programs. And our experience has told us that that is possible. I'll give you an example of that. Many years ago in Upper Manhattan, we had an issue with young people accessing the program because of what you're suggesting, fear of crossing boundaries, et cetera. We did ask the NYPD to position themselves right in front of that center. What we found that happened, Mimi, was that initially the cops stood there as bodyguards, okay, stationed, like they were hired security, right? What we found, Mimi, over time, they started to interact with the young people. I'm happy to share with you, by the end of that summer, the cops and those young people were playing basketball together and comparing notes and supporting one another. So we understand it takes time. I'm not gonna, sit here and tell you, give me your address and we'll have a cop come in and you'll follow this out, because it's gonna take more than that. But we could at least begin to recognize what the issues are. So I'd love for you to share with me specifics. If you have, in fact, let's type it in the chat. Could you give her my email so she can directly reach me, please? Mimi, we're gonna post my direct email, okay? I'm gonna say it verbally, and my colleague here is gonna type it in for your appreciation. And I'd love to hear from you more specifics, and I'd love to hear more from you. So I'm gonna give you my contact information. I welcome you to reach out to me as soon as tomorrow, and let's look to get the wheels rolling to address some of the concerns you're highlighting.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let me give you my email. He's gonna post it. You can copy it, and in the meantime, I'll say it verbally. My email is elavoy, ELABOY, elavoy at dycd.nyc.gov. I'm going to repeat that. elavoy, spelled ELABOY, at dycd.nyc.gov. Okay, I would love to hear more from you, Mimi, and I would love to be able to identify city's resources that can help in what you're highlighting to us. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your feedback, and I fully expect you to reach out to me. I'll be looking for your email.
I will, I definitely will, and I thank you for addressing my concerns.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
You too. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You, bye-bye.
Anybody else, just let me know, okay? Thank you for that feedback. And you did post the